Well, the face-off between the centre and states is something that we've seen multiple instances, multiple examples of, especially in the last few months. But this is specific to Tamil Nadu, where this is a fresh face-off between the centre and the state of Tamil Nadu. The state education minister has accused the state governor, R.N. Ravi, of attempting to infuse politics among the students under the guise of convocation at the Madurai Kamaraj University. Now, minister says he would boycott the ceremony. Normally, the university's vice-chancellor decides on the event and whom to invite. But the minister claimed, despite being the state higher second education minister and pro-chancellor of the varsity as well, neither he nor his department secretary were consulted on inviting the speakers for Wednesday's function. Now, the vice-chancellor's office claimed it was following instructions from the governor's office.
அதுவும் சிறப்பு கௌரவ விருந்தினர்னு ஒருத்தரை போட்டு அவர் எனக்கு முதல்ல பேச வைக்கிறதுன்னு சொன்னால், எனக்கு அடுத்து பேச வைக்கிறதுன்னு சொன்னால், அதை நாங்கள் வேண்டாம் என்று எவ்வளவோ சொல்லி பார்த்தோம். துணைவேந்தரிடம் சொன்னார், ஆளுநருடைய அலுவலகத்தில்.
Dharani is joining us for more details here. Dharani, if you can break it down for us, what exactly is this war of words that has erupted, and what exactly is usually the protocol that is followed, which was now not followed this time round?
Well, Madurai Kamaraj University is having its convocation event today, and the event is going to begin shortly around 1 p.m. But meanwhile, Tamil Nadu's Higher Education Minister Ponmudi yesterday held a press conference where he openly told that he was not included in the discussions about inviting guests for the event. So he is telling that it's a regular protocol to include the higher education minister when there is a convocation event, when there is a discussion about who can be invited as a guest for that event. But this time when it's Madurai Kamaraj University's convocation event, he is telling that he was not invited either by the governor's office or by the vice chancellor of that particular university for the discussions about inviting guests for the event. So he is considering this as a wrongdoing, and he is telling that in this backdrop he is going to boycott the event itself. So this is the first time Higher Education Minister Ponmudi has openly come out and told that he is going to boycott the convocation event, because in the past 1 year Ponmudi has been attending several convocation events in various universities, and in fact he has been delivering speeches also in the stage. So this is the first time he is telling that he is going to boycott the event. So his complaint is that the governor's office is single-handedly deciding who is going to be the guests for convocation events without considering with the Higher Education Minister's office. So he is calling it a power, and he is telling that the governor's office is like it cannot single-handedly decide on these things without considering him. So this is his complaint. So based on this complaint only, he is telling that he is going to boycott the event, and he has also put forward several criticism towards Tamil Nadu's governor R.N. Ravi. In fact, he has told that the governor is acting like a PRO for the BJP party at the centre rather than serving as a governor for the state of Tamil Nadu. So he is telling that rather than serving the people of Tamil Nadu as a governor, R.N. Ravi is acting like a PRO for the BJP party at the centre, and he's also telling that they are suspecting if the governor is trying to infuse politics into the minds of university students through convocation events. So he's telling that by not considering him while inviting guests, he is suspecting if the governor is trying to infuse politics into the minds of university students. Now this is a very serious accusation, because he's talking about university students, and he is telling that the governor is trying to infuse politics into their minds. So this is a very severe criticism that we are looking at. But however, on the other side, the governor's office, they haven't responded to these accusations set. In fact, the convocation event that's going to start in another few minutes, and Governor R.N. Ravi is going to participate in that event, and Higher Education Minister Ponmudi has very evidently boycotted the event. So we are expecting some kind of reaction either from the BJP party or the governor's office itself, but we are yet to get it. But meanwhile, the BJP, Tamil Nadu BJP unit, they are telling that this is some unwanted talking by the Higher Education Minister, and that he should refrain from putting out these kind of comments. So this is the response that we're getting from Tamil Nadu's BJP unit regarding this.
All right, Dharani, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details. We'll of course have to wait and see how that convocation ceremony actually does pan out. But meanwhile, let me welcome our guests who are joining us for more perspective here. Mohan Krishna of the BJP is joining us on the broadcast, as well as C. Rajashekaran, lawyer and political analyst as well. Thank you both of you for joining us on Mirror Now here. Also, just a quick word Viewers, our phone lines are numbers are flashing on your screen. So if you have any views on this issue, do call us and we will hear what you have to say. But let me start off with Mr. Rajsekaran. Your perspective. These are serious accusations, like our reporter was just mentioning as well. What is your view?
Avni, the governor, who is the #1 constitutional body of the state, should maintain its dignity and self-esteem, and he should not indulge, or his office should not indulge in any kind of politicking and politics related to the universities in the state. That is my take as far as the governor's office is concerned. Whatever the DMK minister charges against the governor is absolutely right. Why? Because, see, the minister is the pro-chancellor of the university, the said Madurai College University, and the vice chancellor happens to be the person who sits in the university, and the chancellor by default is the governor. That's how it functions, the hierarchy functions. But imposing somebody who is not at all invited by the pro-chancellor nor the chancellor, I mean vice chancellor, because he is a union minister. I have nothing against him, but it is not the tradition or the culture, or it is not followed in the past. Why suddenly you are imposing or forcing somebody into this convocation celebrations by saying that Union Minister Murugan has to participate, he has to speak before the pro-chancellor who happens to be the higher education minister. All this is politics, politicking by the governor's office and the governor himself, which the minister Ponmudi has charged, which I also agree with the minister. I have the same opinion what the minister has, because the governor should be above all kind of politics and these kind of any kind of allegations against him, which is not at all good for the institution as well as the state, because he is not a politician. He is an independent person who should be above board. He should not indulge in cheap politics or dirty politicking. That is my take on.
All right. Let me bring in Mohan Krishna as well. Your view here, because like we've just heard, there are these allegations and that the Tamil Nadu minister has made as far as the governor is concerned. Your reaction to that?
Ami, this is not the first time that Higher Education Minister Ponmudi has spoken against the governor. This is an ongoing process of this DMK government, which has been infused by the Stalin, the chief minister. Each and every issue is politicized and made that, governor is like, they want the governor to be a puppet of them. Absolutely. This is wrong of them to think like that. If you have any, see, we have discussed many and more times, whenever there is an issue, they should sit with the governor. They can seek an appointment. They can go and talk to him. They can sort it out. But this is not the way. Coming to the point, what Higher Education Mr. Ponmudi has charged, that, students have been infused politics. These kind of things have been put into their minds. I'm sorry. This is not done by the governor. This is done by you people only. You are, see, what is wrong? Union minister, hierarchy will be much higher. So after that, it will be the higher education minister. So what it doesn't matter. See, in front of the students, what is important? Giving good education to the students and taking care of them. And who is going to take the credit for that? Is it that Mr. Murugan is going to take the credit? Is it the governor is going to take the credit? Is it as good as Mr. Higher Education Minister Ponmudi is going to get the credit for that? If he is going to boycott, he is infusing this kind of, the politics in the minds of the students. It is not the governor. I'm absolutely, see, this confrontational attitude of the DMK is continuing day by day, and it is coming to the peak in the kind of, students and talking about the governor. Each and every minister, one day, higher education minister, one day you have a primary education minister talking. See, what is this happening in DMK government? What are they? They are into anarchy?
Okay,
This is what is the
let me
dynasty
bring in
politics
Mr.
is going
Rajsekharan
to.
on that point there. Mr. Rajsekharan, Mohan Krishna is saying that, by bringing up this issue altogether, this is what is infusing politics and into the education of the students at this point in time. What was your reaction to that?
See, the governor's office should be above cheap politics, and they should not indulge in any kind of political activity. Rather, the governor can resign and he can become a politician and contest election, become the chief minister also. We are welcoming the governor
Is it possible
to...
for your Ponmudi to become a governor?
No, when they are in the government, central government, governor is appointed by the union government, which is in power. So anybody can become a governor. Any Tom, Dick and Harry, even you can become a governor if the government feels that they want you. So let us not debate on that point, which is irrelevant to the topic. Now again, I am coming back to the governor's office. The governor, Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. Governor should be above politicking. The governor who happens to be an ex-IPS officer should maintain the decorum of governor's office. He should not stoop down and indulge in...
Right,
cheap
Mr. Rajsekharan,
politics.
I agree with what you're saying, and I'm going to take this question back to Mohan Krishna as well. But before that, on this specific issue of the allegation is that the minister was not consulted on the convocation guests. If there were issues with respect to the way the convocation ceremony was being conducted or the invitations, was there an attempt made to raise the issue with the governor?
You're asking me?
No, I'm asking Mr. Rajsekharan.
Yeah.
Say, actually, the vice chancellor was instructed or was informed by the pro-chancellor, who is the minister, that this kind of tradition is not followed.
Okay.
We don't practice this tradition. That's what I understand from the sources. But in spite of that, the vice chancellor has informed the pro-chancellor, the higher education minister Ponmudi, that the governor's office is insisting that they should invite or impose or forcibly bring L. Murugan, who happens to be the union minister, into this whole convocation function, and he should speak before, deliver his speech before the higher education minister. There only the issue starts. The minister concerned has objected to it, and he has said why unnecessarily a minister is being invited when he is not at all required there.
All right, so
unwarranted.
Mr. Mohan Krishna, in that case then, this is of course an issue where, there should be dialogue, and there should have simply been an agreement on how to take this issue forward and who to invite and who not to invite. Was that done, considering that it is protocol that the vice chancellor's office is the one who decides on the guests, the convocation, etc. Was that communication done?
Absolutely. This is all known to them. This is, the Tamil Nadu DMK government wants to make a small issue also, a big politics, big kind of thing, to make headlines in the national media. So for that matter, they take each and every trivial issues. See, now, I want to object, Avni, the way in which Mr. Rajsekharan said about the governor's office. Any Tom, Dick and Harry can become a governor. What is this they are talking? Somebody should file a PL against Mr. Accuses. This is not the way you can allege and condemn the chair of the governor. He is the custodian of the constitution. You are a lawyer, you know it very well. Please take back your words. Please apologize on this show only that you should not call Tom, Dick and Harry as the governor. They have the respect. First you respect the governor chair and then you talk. If a person like you can talk like this, what the government and ministers and MLAs and people can act like this, you can think of this. Amni, you have to ask an apology from Rajsekharan on this. No Tom, Dick and Harry should have been used on the governor's issue.
Mr. Rajsekharan, would you like to respond to that?
See, all this threatening, all this filing PIL, courts have better job to do, You go and file a bill for this.
Don't call Tom, Dick and
What
Harry.
is this? What I said You said, can Ponmudi become a governor? It is the union government who decides who has to become the
But then
governor.
how can you say
It is
that?
not-
How can you say that?
All right. I'm afraid I'm going to end this discussion here. I'm afraid I'm going to end this discussion here. It is.
I like to.
All right. I'd like to thank both of you for joining us with your perspective. Unfortunately, we've got breaking news coming in and we will move to that.